3.
Alright guys, so I got a totally new topic today. It's going to be childhood obesity. Go ahead and pop it over one. Alright. I know we've all seen this picture, right? And this really defines the problem in America with childhood obesity, at least in my opinion. I'll get into that a little bit later. But some of the statistics we got here, the percent of children aged 6 to 11 in the U.S. increased from 7% of childhood obesity. These kids are obese. Increased from 7% in 1980 to 18% in 2012. So I mean, that's a double, 2.5 times jump. That's pretty ridiculous. Kids 12 to 19 has gone from 5 to 21%. It's quadrupled in the same exact amount of time. Go ahead, please. All right, so childhood obesity, like I was saying a minute ago, has more than doubled in children and quadrupled in adolescents over the past 30 years. In 2012, more than 33% of children were either overweight or obese, which is kind of ridiculous. And this picture I thought was actually really cool. It's kind of simple, and I wish this was a kid playing video games because it'd be a little bit better. But you can see back in like the 50s and the 60s and 70s, when you wanted to do something, you went outside, you know, with your dad, with your friend, you'd go to their house, and you just have to be home before the lights turned on. Yeah, and that's how it was for me too when I was little. But nowadays, you got Honey Boo Boo and her brother sitting there, not really doing anything. So that's one. I mean, that kind of it, but you know, that's how it is nowadays, and everything being so simple, I guess that's kind of how it's got to be. Please. All right. So more than 1/3 of all adults, that's almost 80 million people in the United States. We have what, 250 million. So 80 million people are obese. I don't know. I can't really comprehend that. People have become so caught up in long working hours, and you know, like Jeff said, you know, when you got people working 2 jobs, you know, trying to make ends meet as a single parent, you're not going to go home and cook. You're going to go home and sleep, and you want to just get your kids something to eat. You can throw in a cup of noodles, go get them some fast food, and that's really how it is. But there is a cycle to this whole obesity epidemic that's been going on. You have the parents of these kids who grew up in the age of the fast food explosion. They grew up eating kind of bad, and they thought it's okay, so they've kind of done that to their children, thinking it's not that big of a deal. But now all these kids, you know, start to look like me a little bit, getting a belly at, you know, 10 years old, 11 years old, and it's just, it sucks. Go ahead and continue, please. And then there's the gaming topic that we all disagree with. Now this I'm kind of split on. I'm kind of split on the whole gaming thing, because me personally, I'll probably game for 20 hours a week. You know, 4 or 5 hours a day. I'll just be sitting there after I get my homework and go to work, and I'll just not do anything. And I'm not obese, I think. You know, I think I'm all right. But you know, if it goes uncontrolled, you know, if a parent just lets a kid play video games as much as they want, like my parents did for me, it could lead to some bad consequences. I was 300 pounds 2 years ago. I was a big boy. So, you know, it can be a bad thing. It can be all right, you know, if it's monitored. One thing that I've talked about, well, I haven't really talked about it, but I thought was the way to go was, you know, your kid plays outside or does something, does homework for 2 hours a day, you let them play video games for 2 hours a day. So if they're out running around for an hour, you let them play for an hour. It's a nice little mix. They get what they want, you get what you want. You don't have to worry about it so much. Let's see, where else I'm going. Oh, go ahead, please. Thanks, sir. Scroll down a little bit. So schools are not off the hook when it comes to this. I know we've all talked about it already. Back when I was in high school, our cafeteria, we had like pizza, we had chicken or fried chicken sandwiches, we had burgers, we had rib sandwiches, and then we had a cup with Caesar salad and ranch. And you know, everyone's like, oh, that's the healthy alternative. It's not. I mean, you gotta look at ranch, right? It's all fat. Nothing about it's pretty good, especially when you have a big dosage on there to make it taste all right. You know, that's definitely not good. There needs to be, in my opinion, some sort of nutrition mandatory in schools. You know, as a freshman in high school, you have to take a nutrition class. I feel like that should be a mandatory thing, not an optional class. And then I really wanted to talk about the recess issue and PE issue. A lot of schools, because of the budget cuts, can't afford to let the students go out for 30 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, or go to PE. And I think that's probably the most ridiculous thing in the world. When we're spending billions of dollars, you know, aiding other countries, trillions of dollars, you know, giving it to other countries to help them be all right. Why can't we spend $1 billion a year and make our schools ridiculously good? Good food, you know, give them a little bit longer recess, maybe give them some solid PE teachers that, and some solid classes that train them to be better in the world, and I think that would be very important. Go ahead, please. This slide, I think, is probably the most serious of all the ones that I've talked about so far. It's the problems with obesity and what it costs you and the insurance companies over the long run, over a course of a year and your life. So we look at it, obesity. You're obese. You're giving yourself diabetes. You can get type 2 diabetes from all the sugar. Your body can't keep up. You got heart disease, you can have stroke, you can have certain types of cancer. Usually they're not deadly, but who wants cancer, right? So the estimated annual cost of obesity every year in the United States is $150 billion. That's according to the CDC. And that's not just total cost. That's just straight obesity. That's, if someone has a stroke because of obesity and they find that's the reason, that goes into that. But I thought that was just insane, and that's just staggering considering I don't go to the hospital hardly at all. So considering there's that big of a difference, it just kind of blows my mind. And in 2008, obese individuals paid an average of $1,429 more in medical costs compared to average weight individuals. Go ahead, please. Oh, you changed it. Okay. We need to be very careful as a society here with this epidemic. The cycle of children and parents not eating right is just going to continue and spiral downward unless something can be done about it. Now, the CDC has recommended certain steps to promote physical health and kind of diminish the obesity epidemic as best it can. Some of these things are healthy lifestyle habits, pretty obvious, right? Eating healthy, working out, going to the gym, running around, kicking your kid outside for an hour, make them go do something. Any physical activity like that's really good. Schools also have a critical role, this is from the CDC as well, in creating a supportive environment that teaches kids how to be responsible and how to eat healthy and get promoted that healthy lifestyle when their parents can't do that, especially when their parents can't do that. And that's becoming a big problem in the United States. Thank you very much. Wow.